A very good evening and a warm welcome to Business Roundup on our television. Let's look at the developments in the business arena for the gone week. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Free visa on arrival scheme for tourists extended for 3 months. Corporate linchpin Dhammika Pereira seals the deal to establish global luxury brands in Sri Lanka. Key financial apparatus should be more flexible for local business community, says Lanka Managing Director. News in detail. Addressing the weekly cabinet press briefing last Thursday, co-cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Ramesh Patharana stated that Sri Lanka will set up a mechanism to update Employees Provident Fund, making its recipient updated on their monthly transactions via SMS. Announcing key other cabinet decisions, he also told that the cabinet approval was given for the 3 months extension of the free visa scheme applied for the tourists arriving in Sri Lanka, executed after the Easter Sunday attacks.
The free visa system, Minister, have you done a research to see how many of the tourists coming to Sri Lanka came just because of the free visa?
Actually, given the backdrop of that atrocities that took place in April last year, so that was a welcome move actually. So after the Easter Sunday bombing, we had seen a gradual declining of arrivals of tourists, but with that free visa scheme, there had been an increase up to 10 to 12%. We have taken this decision to continue with that free visa system because world has seen again a decline in tourist arrivals, not only Sri Lanka, and because of this coronavirus spread. So we hope that this will create some momentum in the sense that we'll retain that momentum of encouraging tourists to come to our country. So we have extended that for another 3 months.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa issued a directive calling on the plantation industry to increase the daily wage of workers to 1,000 rupees from March this year amidst a collective agreement reached between regional plantation companies and trade unions a year ago. Thus, Subject Minister Dr. Ramesh Patharana briefed the media on the developments of the negotiations among plantation companies and the Plantations Ministry on the proposed wage increase when he was inquired over the issue at the Cabinet press meeting.
The discussions are ongoing, so we should be able to come to a decision probably by first week of March. But policy-wise, they also agreed that we need to increase salaries of the estate workers.
Will the Treasury be providing some of the funds?
No, we are looking into that aspect as well, but they have proposed 3 models, outgrower model and also a productivity-based incentive and also a revenue sharing model. So those 3 models are being discussed at the moment. So for an interim period of time, government will also mediate in case if it's required.
Initiating another venture in tourism and recreational activities, Corporate linchpin Chairman of Greener Water Limited Dhammika Pereira and Chairman of Summer Season Limited Mohan Panditage signed 2 groundbreaking memoranda of understanding to establish global luxury brands JW Marriott and Ritz-Carlton in Sri Lanka. Separate memoranda of understanding were signed between Dhammika Pereira's companies Greener Water Limited, which is a fully owned subsidiary of Valuable One, and Summer Season Limited to establish global luxury brands JW Marriott and Ritz-Carlton in Sri Lanka. Pereira signed the MOU with Marriott International President for Asia Pacific, Rajiv Menon, Haley's PLC Chairman and Chief Executive, as well as Summer Season Limited. Chairman Mohan Panditage signed the MOU for Ritz-Carlton Mirissa. The exclusively luxurious 500-roomed 5-star JW Marriott located in Negombo is built to launch in the 4th quarter of next year, while the Ritz-Carlton with its 228 rooms will open its doors in Mirissa in the 3rd quarter in 2022. The signing of these MOUs is a strong affirmation of Dhammika Pereira's commitment to the growth of the country's leisure and tourism industries, adding boost to the Sri Lankan economy as whole. Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman says domestic economic activities in Sri Lanka remained stagnant in the 4th quarter of the last year, but revitalization in economic activity sustained by appropriate fiscal and monetary measures is anticipated this year. Speaking at Ceylon Chambers' annual Economic Outlook Forum for 2020, Professor Lakshman also added that the global growth projections are revised downwards due to weakening growth in emerging market economies and spread of coronavirus.
Global growth projections were revised downwards in the January 2020 update. According to available estimates, domestic economic activity in Sri Lanka has remained subdued in the 4th quarter of 2019, but in 2020, a revival in economic activity is anticipated, supported by appropriate fiscal and monetary measures, and importantly, improved business confidence and a stronger sense of political stability among the people in general and business community in particular. Low and stable inflation environment, exchange rate stability at competitive level, low lending rates as well as improved consumer and investor sentiment are likely to push the economy to reach its capacity levels over the medium term.
Moreover, Central Bank Governor Professor W.D. Lakshman says that the central bank is in discussions with the IMF to enter a fresh program with it under the policy framework of the new government.
In the last IMF team, I had long chats with them, and the idea we have is perhaps to talk with them later on and develop a program within the kind of policy framework we agree, as long as that is permitted. And the IMF team told me that it is permitted. It is the country concerned which has to develop the program. So on that basis, I think there would be a discussion for a new program. Whether it will finalize easily is yet to be decided on the basis of developments.
Stay tuned for more news right after this commercial break. Welcome back after the break. The International Monetary Fund delegation led by its mission chief for Sri Lanka, Manuela Goretti, stresses that the economy in Sri Lanka is recovering from the attacks of last April, with GDP growth projected at 3.7% in this year. However, the delegation emphasizes that fiscal prudence remains critical to support macroeconomic stability and market confidence amid high levels of debt and refinancing needs. A staff team from the International Monetary Fund led by Manuela Goretti visited Colombo during January 29th to February 7th to meet with the new administration and discuss its policy agenda. At the conclusion of the staff visit, issuing a statement, Goretti stresses, quote, high-frequency indicators continue to improve and growth is projected to rebound to 3.7% in 2020 on the back of the recovery in tourism, and assuming that the novel coronavirus will have only limited negative effect on tourism arrival and other economic activities. Inflation is projected to remain at around 4.5% in line with the Central Bank of Sri Lanka target. After a sharp import contraction in 2019, the current account deficit is expected to widen to nearly 3% of GDP in 2020. Quote out. The statement also stresses that the primary surplus target under the program supported by the Extended Fund Facility was missed by a sizable margin in 2019, with a recorded deficit of 0.3% of GDP due to weak revenue performance and expenditure overruns. Subsequently, the statement further underscores that modernizing the Banking Act with a view to strengthening and harmonizing regulation, supervision and resolution frameworks for deposit-taking financial institutions would help safeguard financial stability. The authorities should move ahead with growth-enhancing structural reforms to fully harness Sri Lanka's economic potential and foster greater social inclusion, and these plans would need to be supported by a visible commitment to strengthen governance and transparency, notably in the energy sector, and renewed efforts to tackle corruption, the statement added. Research Director of Verite Research Subhashini Abesinghe pointed out major flaws and issues in our export sector, speaking at the panel discussion held in Sidelines with the launch of the Economic Outlook for 2020 conducted by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce.
One of the problems with Sri Lanka's export sector right now is that it is totally out of sync with local developments, and it is also totally out of sync with global developments. One of the major disparities between the current export basket in terms of local developments is Sri Lanka has transitioned from being a low-income country to an upper middle-income country. Last year, Sri Lanka was classified by the World Bank as an upper middle-income country. But our exports are stuck in low-cost, low-skilled, labor-intensive sectors. And there is a total incompatibility in it. We looking at a country that will reach a per capita income of US $6,500. I can't think of a country with that kind of per capita income trying to achieve double-digit export growth with an apparel sector account for 45% and agriculture sector accounting for another 22%. This is not possible because you are not compatible with your structure, and every other country that was transitioning from low income to middle income transitioned out of low-skilled, low-intensive sectors.
Information and Communication Technology State Minister Lakshman Yapa Abeyewardena says that finding faults in the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa's effort to have a 3-year moratorium for existing debts from India is completely wrong. Addressing a media briefing at the ministry premises last Tuesday, State Minister Abeyewardena said that Prime Minister Rajapaksa made that request on behalf of all citizens of the country. Information and Communication Technology State Minister Lakshman Yapa Abeyewardena told the media that every government which came into power went for foreign loans, but the period 2015 to 2019 recorded a very bad way of going for loans from foreign countries. He said that foreign loans amount of 7,400 billion rupees was drastically increased to 14,000 billion rupees during that period. He also added that Sri Lanka must settle a premium of 480 billion rupees during this year, and the government needs to settle it without putting any burden on the general public. State Minister Abeyewardena also highlighted that one of the main intentions of the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa's 5-day visit to India was seeking some concession on the issue. Minister explained that the government's plan was to take a concession period from India and seek the same concession from China too. During that period, government must increase export revenue and assuring a strong economy to settle the foreign debt, State Minister Abeyewardena told the media. He added that it is very unfair and wrong to find faults in the effort, and incumbent government was disappointed on the behavior of UNP parliamentarians. We'll be back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. Making a latest addition to the existing XUVs in Sri Lanka, the newest Korean small SUV, the 2020 Kia Seltos, was unveiled in Sri Lanka by Kia Motors Lanka at a gala launch ceremony in Colombo last week.
Accordingly, the 2020 Kia Seltos include 140 horsepower, 1.4-litre turbocharged petrol engine and 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. Its comfortable and tech-savvy cabin, a choice of 2 well-tested engines, front and rear skid plates and black wheel arch cladding, 17-inch alloy wheels, ABS with electric stability control and hill start assistant control, all speak to off-road abilities above those of its class and size. The Seltos' strong and rigid body is composed of 61% advanced high-strength steel and is further enhanced with 374 feet of structural adhesives. Moreover, this new SUV is priced between 6.9 million rupees and 7.6 million rupees, and the Kia Seltos is backed by a warranty of 5 years or 150,000 kilometers.
It's quite interesting and actually exciting for us all that we've been able to bring the Kia Seltos, because SUVs are a very popular vehicle in Sri Lanka, and with its pricing, capability, its design and the ability that the car has, I think it will perform extremely well in our Sri Lanka market in all areas, what the consumer and what the customers expect it to perform as. As I said, Kia has been a design-driven brand, and the great Peter Schreier has put in the effort to develop this, which is slightly smaller than the ever-successful Sorento, and that's why the name Seltos, which is a son of Hercules, has been given to, derived from that, which has been given to this model, because like the Sorento, if it had a Herculean task, as we said, in conquering the SUV market, the Seltos is born here to actually do follow-up on that.
Speaking further on the sidelines of the launching ceremony, Managing Director of Kia Motors Lanka, Mahent Thambaya, highlighted that the industry is affected more by the restrictions in borrowing when purchasing vehicles than the external shocks like coronavirus or Easter Sunday attacks.
The effect of the external factors, it does affect the economy overall in the world and the country in Sri Lanka. So obviously the sectors that are affected by the coronavirus, like tourism and the April incident of last year, obviously has impacted the tourism industry significantly, and the fallout from that into the other sectors as well is going to be felt. That obviously slows down things to a great extent. The market is very much shrunk at the moment. I think for us, the more important factor is the restriction on finance placed by the central bank, which restricts the borrowing for purchasing of vehicles. That has had a bigger impact on the vehicle market, more than the external factors of the April incidents of Easter last year, and also the current coronavirus that has affected mainly tourism currently in the country.
And now a subject expert at First Capital Holdings will be joining us to bring you the usual analysis on the stock performances.
The market has been on a downward trajectory during the past week with rather moderate level of turnover. The coronavirus hampered most part of the world markets, and Sri Lanka has been no exception, following a similar pattern to the world markets. Continuous foreign outflows were noted during the week, while the overall foreign participation, however, has been rather weak. Lots of companies have been releasing profit figures during the week, but the market has not reacted to any of the positive results that have come in so far. The retail activity also has been extremely low, with most investors on the sidelines. Bulk of the companies' results are likely to come in the coming week or the following week. With the company results release expected to be positive, we expect a gradual increase in the buying interest in the market. We expect high net worth individuals and institutional buying to improve in the coming days, which is likely to have a positive impact on the overall market. Thereby, we expect a reversal in the market back into the green with positive momentum that is likely to be created with the overall results.
And that's all news for today. Send us your comments, views and opinions via email address and our hotline. With that, we'll be signing off for today and see you on Monday with State of Business. Until then, take care. Good night.